Hello, welcome, howdy, everyone to Trench Talk with me, your host, Lek, and Mr. Fonz. Today,
Yo,
we're
yo,
doing it a
yo.
little off the cuff, talking balance. Why are we talking balance? Because we're running out of ideas and we're like focusing on what the community is focusing on and all that jazz, right?
Well, I don't think it's running out of ideas. I'm sure people would love to hear two colonials' takes on balance right now, man. Surely it'll be a reasonable and civil discussion.
I mean, hey,
But,
you're an ex-Newt and you're going Warden next war.
uh,
Surely you have some room to talk on it, right?
yeah, I mean, I consider myself. There's a lot of on both sides. I mean, it's a phenomenon. There's a lot of fanatical people who've sort of like weaponized balance talks and weaponized like Reddit and shit to sort of try and tip the pendulum of balance in each other's favor. And I think the pendulum is probably gonna disappear as it's gonna get less and less worse because it's like, dude, there was a period in Foxhole where things were like kind of it was that like there was that sweet spot between 72 and 72 and 75, right? I think it is where it was just like literally colonial warden, colonial warden, colonial warden, same amount of casualties, same like it was a balanced thing. There was that period,
Hmm.
and I think that was the period right when wardens got the chieftain and the ballista
No,
wasn't
you're
even worth
incorrect in
it.
that. The
Yeah,
chieftain was War 80, I believe.
chieftain was war
It was
80.
the
Okay, then
chieftain was with the armor rework, and that was before entrenched. It was the last update before entrenched, which was War 80, because entrenched was 83, I
yeah, but
believe.
my point is that as the arsenals get like flushed out, and then because really, what's the issue right now, right? Everyone's complaints are what colonials need a Cutler equivalent, and I think the Cutler equivalent can just be, dude, it can literally be the grenade launcher, but you just make the
No,
tremola.
it's way too weak for that.
I don't know. I would say the tremola would get fucking get buffed to be Cutler damage, so just
Mm,
give colonials an impact
the
grenade.
problem is that fundamentally you're just looking at something that does not work in the same capacity that the RPG works, right? Like the RPG is a lot easier to use as just an anti everything, whereas the grenade launcher is generally more like anti-structure, and it's dogshit anti-structure because the
Well,
per crate size of everything, like it'd take some serious buffs to get it on Cutler tier, and I don't think people want it to be Cutler tier, and I don't
I
know if it would be good if it was Cutler tier. I'm gonna
so
be honest.
what's been pushed around, especially by this Mad guy Peloto, he always talks about this where I mean, you could very well give colonials a faction unique tremola, like a faction unique tremola that's detonate on impact and does the same amount of damage as a cutler. And like like I think that would be fair because you could completely balance it around that, and I think that's like, and I mean it just gives
The
you'd
idea I
still have all the
Yeah, the
things, but
idea I keep hearing is 30 millimeter recoilless rifle kind of
dude, that
thing.
thing would be busted. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, the recoilless rifle, man, because you could literally just flick and it would literally be playing. You're playing with an op, dude, an op you can't miss with from CSS or CS:GO. Like it,
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
I there'd be ways to like fuck around with it, but it's
Even then it wouldn't be as good as the RPG because then it's just like I hate that idea when people say hit scan infantry PvE because it doesn't give you a chance to like kite and stuff with it because the moment you hit that, like with the RPG and then the grenade launcher, you have time to duck behind cover as the projectile travels, right? But you
oh,
hit
so
scan it with a 30 mil
you
and then
want
you
it to be
just
stronger. You think hit scan is a downside here,
yeah,
huh?
I think hitscan definitely is. It's a downside for with the intent of PvE. For PvP, it's excellent. It's why I completely agree that the ISG it wasn't really its PvE capability lek that like what's it called like because a lot of the yeah it had like decent PvE when it had the 2 second reload but that period
It
after
was
it
a
the
point .5
complaint was
second reload.
yeah, the but the complaint with it wasn't later on in the ISG when it was blatantly broken. The complaint wasn't ever, oh yeah, the PVE is too strong and the DPS is too
No,
strong. It was how impressive.
that
No,
was the
no,
complaint.
no, no. A big yeah. But what I'm saying after that update, what I've heard from wardens completely is that uh the ISG was super oppressive to infantry because you just have an emplacement there with a shell that costs like half an EMAT that you're shooting at infantry and shit, and then you're just like locking down like you can lock down an entire area with an ISG.
Oh yeah,
Like
no,
it's
it's
it would be very like broken. Like a recoilless rifle 30 millimeter, it would be any hit scan PVE weapon would be broken, in my
I
opinion.
think it's hard to say because obviously the easy solution is to just make the Cutler, non-faction specific, and that's what we used to have. And there's a reason that the old RPG was at like the end of the tech tree because it was very strong, and we see that
Yeah, I
with the
mean, dude,
with
the
the
old
Cutler.
RPG, there was the period of time where people would just not make light tanks and tank shells because the shells were number one back then. They costed sulfur, they costed HE mats when scarcity was first introduced. And number two, it just like the amount of damage you could do with just five guys with RPGs for like a quarter of the time and a quarter of the cost was like insane. And I mean, it's still the same thing now, right? With like just having 10 Cutler guys, you can just fucking wipe out entire bunker base complexes and shit, dude. So it's
Yeah,
definitely like, I mean, I was one of the, and you know, not to fillet myself or anything, man. I think I was one of the first people to call it out after the dev branch, where I said, man, so the bone saw movement speed I can kind of understand because the bone saws movement speed was disgusting before, but the Cutler, it's just the Cutler's agility. It wasn't really like the shell cost, whatever. The
you now shadow dance
everything.
with a Cutler.
Yeah, you can. It's literally just like you're playing TF2, soldier from TF2, bro. Just rocket jumping everywhere,
Maybe that's
flipping
why
around
I
like
so
garrison
badly wish the Cutler was
yeah.
colonial also. I fucking soldier main.
Literally
Though
soldier,
if
yeah.
anything, what I also mained demo. Maybe I'd want you know what colonials should get? Like a lunaire, but and you can like launch instead of tremolas, you launch sticky bombs. Come
Oh
on.
yeah,
That'd
that'd be
be
pretty
so cool,
funny.
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So
you
this
can
is
just remotely detonate them. You
this is we yeah. Fuck.
Dude, you can't tell me that wouldn't be fun as fuck.
That would be pretty sick. But
Uh,
I mean, what else is there? I mean, there's I don't know the
well, no,
colon
that's
like
the Cutler's just the main one
yeah
that people
the
always go
main
to. I've been saying it. I actually just on the topic of balance as a whole. I think like you said, I think balance was probably at its peak around entrenched. I think although it was very, very obviously not like balanced in a good way, it was balanced. Like people were like things were frustrating, but they were mostly balanced because neither side had an incredible advantage over the other. I mean, like you still had the chieftain versus ballista discrepancy and all that, but for the most part, things were within reason, right? The problem is that since then we've had stuff like the Howitzer garrison like change so that they no longer retaliate when you've got infantry going and fucking with them, namely Cutler squads. Um, and you got stuff like that where it's like as well as the HV40 stuff where people were complaining about the power of HV40. I always thought that was stupid because like 90% of the time it's not the HV40s doing it, or if it's the HV40, it's the HV40 doing like some weird stuff where they kill one and then the satchels go kill everything else. Now a hole's been made, but the ultimate thing with the HV40 and the Cutler was that Howie garrison change. And when I look at that change, I think to myself, that was probably a change that could have been good, but the devs just kind of didn't have the foresight to change up building enough to counter what would then be really, really stupid ways of like dealing with bunkers. And that's something we could talk on for a while
I
is
don't know.
how stupid bunkers work
I,
in regards to
I
balance,
think
but
how we should I think how we should retaliate the Cutler and tank fire or push gun fire.
it's one of those
One
things where it's
thing.
like it's meant to be like an anti-arty thing, not just like and when you get it to where it kind of I could understand why the devs would make that decision because it does feel a little bit stupid when bunkers are mostly supposed to be retaliatory and not like directly like and having having a howitzer garrison fire upon infantry that are trying to like break into a bunker when the infantry are like within 50 meters and normal already can't fire that close to itself. It's like there's a whole lot of conventions that the Howie garrison kind of broke, and I can understand why they might have made that change, even though the devs never said why they made that change, as far as I can recall. Um, it's one of those things though, where it's like I think a lot of this balance stuff ties into like buildings in a way. Um, I mean, concrete is the reason why a lot of the imbalance happens, because concrete is so important, because the second it dies it takes like if you get a bunker core tapped, you can't rebuild that like concrete there for like a week, like not a week, but like to get a full meta bunker with Howie garrisons and everything you're gonna want, that shit takes a while. Like if it dies, the enemy can basically prevent you from ever getting it up again, and so that kind of like just absolutely fucks up any potential for you to rebuild it, which is why the ability to actually kill concrete is so fucking powerful. It's what makes those like, even though the Cutler is like I think the Cutler's strength comes from its like spam, in a similar vein to the ATR, where it's super easy to get a bunch of infantry, have like just equip them with Cutlers, makes them into anti-tank, makes them into anti-structure, especially against like tier 2 bunkers. That Cutler spam is really effective. I think Cutlers against concrete is a little bit of a meme, in the same way that HV40 against concrete was, but it's one of those things where it's like the ability to kill concrete, and a faction's ability to kill concrete is, I think, the biggest source of imbalance in the game currently. Namely with like Ballista and Chieftain. I don't know about you, but it's like with the Cutler, Cutler
So the
definitely is
Cutler,
up there,
I mean,
but
the Cutler fucking rocks, dude. I mean, it kills concrete. We've seen there's plenty
oh
of
no, I'm
memes
not
and
saying it
videos
doesn't.
from
I'm
you,
just
like
yeah.
it's a concrete killer for sure, man. I mean, it's just
Not in the same
yeah.
vein as Ballista and Chieftain.
Well, yeah, yeah, not in the same way Satchel, Ballista, and Chieftain, but you can
Yeah,
definitely kill concrete with cutlers. Like, you
yeah.
get 10 guys with cutlers, you suppress the fucking rifle garrison with an
You don't even need
FMG.
to in a lot of cases.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you know, just to make it easier, you can suppress it, then just fucking light up the AT pillbox with cutlers over and over, and you just win. That's it. I mean, you know, not much else to it. And I mean, so this is funny here. So recently, I came across something that I considered very cocky and bold to say, and this warden claimed uh that the Colonial Cutler equivalent is the RPG Jeep, and to me
Oh
that is
wait, oh
insane.
wait. I
It's
continue.
yeah, yeah. So look, so to me that's insane. Like, and his response to how Colonials quote unquote skill issue, our inability to kill concrete, is that we should suicide falchions, our 69 armat tank, quote unquote, our 69 armat tank. Yeah, I mean in in theory, yes, the falchion costs 69 armats. In practice, I've seen the same amount of people hammer out, but like randoms, like you can't get, it's you don't give me the colonials
Oh
are just
god.
brain dead talk. It's randoms on both sides will hammer out. They will never
Oh
MPF
boy.
shit, or they'll try to steal it. But anyways, back to the topic. He said we should suicide falchions first to soak up the anti-tank garrison damage of the concrete, and then while that's going on, we should use RPG jeeps to PvE the concrete anti-tank garrisons. And I said, okay, if this warden can do this, and I'm announcing this here now for all of my warden listeners and everything, we love you guys. I love you guys. I'm willing to talk balance, and this will show that I'm willing to talk balance here. I said, is if he can get a clip of himself organizing and doing that enough RPG jeeps and falchions to suicide destroy meta concrete, and I'm not talking any stunners, okay? We don't want any stunners out there getting destroyed. I'm talking meta with AT anti-infantry
Like
howitzer
the big
garrisons. The
chonker,
meta, the big chunk, yeah,
not like a meta
the
W,
thing.
the old
Not the
meta
meta
W. We're
W.
talking chonkers, the double
I'm
AT,
talking
double
turn,
MG, those fucking huge ass
the big
ones.
ones. Yes, those ones there. If you can do that, because that's the commonplace build nowadays for bunkers. If you can get a video of yourself doing that, I will donate $500 to Warden Unity Hub's video, our charity of choice here. We of course, if you can actually do it, we can, disgusting. And hey man, I'll actually do it. Unlike Disc, who was unwilling to eat a shoe, man. So if you guys can get a video, dude, it's going to a good cause.
He was
So,
wanting he was wanting to come on, and he'd probably actually fuck no. He was saying that he would come on, but he didn't want to talk Foxhole at all, and I found that a little funny. But
yeah, I find that funny too. I mean, because I know Disc is a cool guy and everything, but I'm serious, man. If we want to do something good, hey, I got some philanthropy bucks I've been saving, dude.
bro,
500.
you keep doing this shit. I don't know. It ain't me. It's Fonzie. Okay, he's the generous one here.
Dude,
He's also the one that blew me off 2 nights in a row, taking fucking
yeah,
edibles
sorry.
and sleeping
Man,
early.
I gotta get the nap and then, but yeah. So, that's that. So, if you want more,
Yeah, the
things
bounty's
about
out there.
Charles,
Go get it. Go get
bounty's
that
out
fucking
there.
bread.
I'm not gonna keep it up for long.
Well, actually,
because
it's not.
nerds are gonna keep, 100 wars from now when this fucking thing is over, and I'm like,
The
Wakanda
bounty
avoid.
is within what, till 1.0? Is that the
Yeah, let's
duration?
go till 1.0. I'll give everyone till 1.0 to do that. And if you can
Basically
get a
next
video
war.
brilliant.
You got next
Yeah,
war to do it,
yeah,
okay?
next one. Yeah.
Or maybe
Um,
2 wars if 1.0 is like
yeah,
October, like late October.
we'll figure it out. How many wars?
Actually, fuck.
But yeah, there you go.
It could be late September, and there could be 2 more wars before 1.0.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Anyways,
it's
moving on here.
yeah. In regards to like that comment, oh god, there's so much funny like shit. Like I think because what was it? There's an ancient Moydog video, and I don't like talking about him a ton because he's just some out of touch streamer, bro. But he was calling Cutler
Listens to
hard to
this
use or some
podcast,
shit,
too.
right?
I mean, no, he doesn't listen to this podcast.
No,
So
shit,
no,
dude.
no.
We ain't got enough clout for him to
But
listen to us unless
no,
he's literally
Moy.
down here in the trenches. Okay,
So I think I mean I don't want to be mean to Moy or anything because
I do. Fuck
you
him.
know, I don't think he's like I don't think he's nefarious. I think
I do. Fuck him.
I think he's just a Foxhole player, man, right? And I say this where there's stages of a Foxhole player, where you'll go into a faction, Colonial or Warden, you'll probably bind to if you stick with the game for over 1,000 hours, you'll bind yourself to that faction and you'll become a loyalist to that faction. This is inevitable. And once you hit that loyalism period, and I think Moy's definitely hit that loyalism period. I think he's getting into
He
Warden
hit that.
culture and everything.
This is a video from
Yeah,
when
yeah.
he like first like started, because he's an entrenched newbie, right? He's been
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
for like what, 7 months?
But what I'm saying is he's getting to that point where he's gonna get into loyalism. He's gonna get super into it, and if he continues to play Foxhole,
He got
he'll
into
get
that
to a
almost
point where
immediately. I think it's just because his
yeah.
job is to be controversial, and that's how he makes his money, right?
I don't think it's not like on squad. He's not going on squad being like when I play as the Taliban,
It's like when
posting on Reddit,
his
I don't
job is to get attention on him, right? And
think-
if that is by stirring controversy, that's how he does it. That's like I think it's just a kind of the way
Sure.
he's done things, right?
I'll agree with it, but I think being the cycle of yeah, okay, I agree with you, but
You
the
can
cycle of
also be a
Foxhole,
Foxhole player, but I don't
like,
think that's the reason why he had those takes.
I think it's
But
definitely compounded it. I don't. It's
oh,
not.
okay, yeah, I can say it's like part of it. Yeah, there's like multitude of factors why he might say that. But anyway,
But
let's
I'm
enough
not gonna
focusing on him.
psychoanalyze a growing man
Let's not
that
psychoanalyze
owns a
him.
home and has a family, dude. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
Oh yeah, you got a new house. Congrats
so
on that, right?
yeah, if you hear this, Mike, congrats, man. Never
He
wish
ain't
any
listening.
ill upon-
We already said that he ain't listening. Why would he be listening?
That'd be funny if you left a comment. That'd be freaking hilarious.
Nah,
If
he
Mike
ain't
could
going
do
to.
that. I'd love to have you on the as a guest, man.
I would
But,
love to have him on, and I would just call him dumb the whole time.
I mean, it's so my thing is that until I can tell someone's like actually a bad faith sort of like like I'm willing to have conversations with. There's certain people in the community who I know like you just can't speak to.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
Like, there's a few names, but brackets witch hunting. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I can't.
It's
Anyways.
no, I'd be willing to have a talk. I'd just probably like I don't know. I I don't know if it's like I'm not gonna make a call of if it's bad faith or not. I just think I just think a lot of his takes are dumb, but that's not
I
really saying
mm,
much. Night like we're dumb. You and me, we're dumb here. That's why
I
we
well
that's why we
for
sit
yourself,
on
like
like
I'm a
sit here
goddamn
at
genius.
10 p.m.
But
talking about fucking foxhole balance. If we were
but
smart, we'd not be doing this, Fonzie. We'd not be playing
yeah, we'd
foxhole.
also be on the front page, dude. They're scared to have us on the front page, like
Oh yeah. They got the other guys on there, but can't get little
good
old
damn.
us sad.
Fucking
We're the edgy
Pudsey and
podcast.
Creepy Banana. Yeah, we're the edgy podcast, right? Pudsey and Creepy Banana, I'm calling you out right now. You and your little fight nights. How about this? I'll raise you one. Foxhole Podcast boxing, okay? We'll all chip in as a community, rent out a boxing theater, and we'll box one another. We'll do tag team style like wrestling, man. With
Oh, I'd be
me and Fleck versus you and Creepy Banana, Pudsey.
I got like no weight on me, but I'd be down.
Dude, I'll come out there. I'll get the full sumo wrestler setup going, man. We'll get a gong. I'll get a
Actually,
little
fuck,
like
when would we
staff.
even do this? I'm super busy. I don't know if I'd be able to like
But
fly out for that.
we are not flying.
Oh, are you talking
There's
like playing online?
no. This it's a bit, man. What the fuck? Dude,
Oh,
there's
come
no way
on. I
on
thought you're
earth I
being
would.
serious. Come on.
You're fucking with me right now, man. If you think I'm serious,
You
you're
don't know if
not.
I'm fucking with you or not. That's the cool part, right?
Maybe. I think you're fucking with me now. The actually, no, you're fucking with me now. You're giggling at me, scumbag. Anyways,
You're welcome. No,
we're
yeah.
talking about balance, and then I talked about tossing on a luchador mask and fucking
Bro, I'd wear a
RKOing.
fucking bro, you'd see me cosplaying my fucking
Dude,
foxhole character, and
dude,
I'd just walk up with a fucking like a conductor's whistle, blow that shit, fucking toss
uh,
it aside, and then like grab the motherfucker, throw him over
uh,
the ropes, and then like fucking put on a Thomas the Tank Engine mask and
but
just like high dive off the fucking
we
ladder.
would only do this. We'd only do this with consent. I would never condone the assaulting of my fellow foxhole player, especially such wonderful content creators such as Fuzzy and Creepy Banana. But
Yes,
anyways,
yes, well,
as
absolutely
we continue
wonderful.
here,
Yeah.
what's up next for balance? What else did you
I
wanna
don't know.
talk
Do we
about?
even
Like,
look? This is
I mean,
the
it's a split. Ballista versus Chieftain. It's like universal, man.
it's
It's about like
everyone. There's people that
balanced.
are people undersell the value of like armor and how much like girth it adds
So
to a tank because
my
like
my complete opinion on this, I don't care about overall armor health in a tank. Like I do not care. I care about raw bounce percentage. Like
I mean
because like that's
it
just me,
impacts
man.
it a lot unironically. Like if you saw the toaster in action, it has the same min pen as like a light tank, but then it has half the armor HP and you really felt it like with the one I wasn't using one, but I was like lining I had a Kreneska and I was using it beside the toaster and they all got penned constantly because their armor got degraded basically instantly the second they took like one pen. Like, and plus armor HP scales with min pen, except on it scales with you start taking it scales to where it takes I think 6 pens with 40 mil or 68 mil before you start losing min pen value, and that's identical for every tank except the Ironhide, and I think that's it.
To be honest with you, I think I don't know, man. I just, dude, the good player is always lucky, okay? Like,
Yeah, but like,
if the gods will it, my armor will not be penned. That's it. And if RNGesus fails me, bro, fuck it, dude. I
look,
guess I
bro,
was
if
meant
I'm
to die. That's it. Yeah, I mean, that's just how it is, man. That's how I've like, dude. People get mad at RNG. Dude, that's just the natural balance. Dude, life is RNG, okay?
Nah, look,
It
hey, look,
is.
I'm not a gambling man. I also ain't a religious man. I'm just a man that like looks at the numbers and I see, fucking, when I look at the when I look at the armor stats on the ballista, I literally do a fucking barrel roll. I like
The
I
the ballista's armor is stupid. Like it
it's
should not
so
have. point 4
Point
percent. Like it just
four.
doesn't make
It has
doesn't make
point
sense.
four.
0.4% chance to get penned from, or no, is what's that? Yeah, that's to get
It's
penetrated
point
from the
four.
front.
Yeah, it's
So it's a
literally point
40%
zero.
chance.
It's 7% higher chance than a fucking light tank to get penned
Yeah,
with
it just
with
doesn't make
with,
sense.
with half
I
the
don't.
speed of a fucking chieftain.
I think when someone said that, yeah, when the ballista was supposed to be balanced against the the 250 millimeter wheelchair, and then the chieftain was introduced, and then the ballista wasn't brought in line with the chieftain,
No,
it's kind
that
of
is
like,
not the case because the field mortar was released before the armor rework. When they did the armor rework, they both made the ballista dog shit and added the chieftain, and they've never touched the chieftain. The chieftain has just been overpowered as fuck since it got released. And I say overpowered.
oh,
Yeah, I kind of hold its. Well, I think everything to do with concrete is like very silly. So it being one of the most effective anti-concrete vehicles in the game, yeah, it's a little stupid in how effective it is. Like, I think it's, I don't think it's more effective than satchels because satchels are very, very strong, but it is definitely something
well, people
to
have
see
called the
like
Quadiche chieftain equivalent, and I just don't man, it's
people
just two
put
different
what?
roles. The Quadiche, the
Yeah, Quadiche is
Rancer,
anti-tier 2
Quadiche.
though. It's
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
front it's like
exactly.
a Quadiche is weird. It's an anti-tier 2 PvE fucking PvP kind of support tank. It's like it's such a weird tank
People
functionally.
would get mad at you right now in Sigil, man. Don't get me started on the motherfuckers in
People call it
Sigil.
a PvP tank, and I
It,
myself I've used it to PvP a lot and I've gotten some pretty good kills with it, but I would not call it a PvP tank.
no, its main focus is not PvP. It's just
Yeah,
going to like
definitely not.
so well, okay, it comes in PvP where like it's completely, that machine gun is like oppressive to infantry, dude. Like if
That's
you're
what
an
I mean by
infantry
it's a
player in
support tank, right?
2022, you're like, man,
It
the Quadiche is like
whenever you run
terrible.
into like a big tier 2 line and you want it like if you're pushing if you're build pushing and there's no concrete on a map, say you're in fucking like Great March, right? Just a really open map and there's only tier 2 bunkers everywhere and you're like pushing with tank lines. You throw a Quadiche or two in your like in your line and you're going to have infantry, they're dead, they're dealt with, and every time you rock up to an enemy tier 2 bunker, that shit's dying every single time. With the damage from your other tanks plus the quad, that shit's dead, right? But when it comes to actually fighting tanks, when tanks are reversing, if a tank is initiating against a quad, the quad has insane range. But if it's the other way around, its range gets lower because the travel time on the shell. It's like
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch
It,
of
so the quad, the way I've seen the quad used, it's very effective when so the quad and the bardiche I would rate exactly the same, with the quad having a little bit of the edge. I would take the quadiche over a bard in a lot
um
of times, and I say this because the bardiche is very good with sustained damage over time and it's an in-your-face tank, but having that initial nuke, I found, in my opinion, especially if you're able to get it on surprise, is really, really good.
well, yeah,
Because you
that's if you're like on the flank clip hunting, right? But like if you're doing a line fight, which is the majority of like what you do, the quad is definitely better. For what I do, the quad is definitely better. But for like your average foxhole player, the bard
yeah, I
is going to
guess
be a
the bard
million
is
times better because
better.
you like
It's
you
a
have
lot friendlier.
even though it is only 35-meter range, you've got better range. You've got like you don't have to put up with the janky fucking aiming system. And it's a lot less jank than other RPG vehicles, but you're still having to deal with like the weirdness of it all. And it's like ultimately it's one of those tanks where it's like it's in the right hands, you can burst and deal a fuckload of damage, sure, and it's really good when you can get the jump on people. But if you're fighting in a normal front line where you're gonna be looking at the enemy and there's no surprises, it's uh well, you'll learn its shortcomings very quickly, right?
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of the time I don't know, and I tell this to a lot of people, like, I think colonials, especially, I think wardens have this in the bag, but colonials need to just to add on to that, need to diversify their play styles, right? Because I mean, I'm sort of in a sense like someone brought up to me that I'm a bit of a one trick pony, like with and
Yeah,
that's because I mean people
the
say that
thing.
with armor, but the thing like dude, I can spot for arty and I'm a competent partisan man.
Yeah,
Like
no,
I
like
know
I
that.
think
I know
no,
it's
like
not true.
we.
It's definitely like I think colonials overall though is like I set a bad example for that. I think is we need to start like like everyone needs to start doing arty more is what I'm
Are
trying to say.
doing arty
Okay,
more?
everyone needs to colonials need to do arty a lot more because colonial fronts are always lacking artillery, and it just
Yeah,
doesn't make
I
sense to
think
me. Like,
there's like a couple of reasons for that. One, how easy it is to kill the guns, blah blah blah, or the fact that you need a lot of manpower to. But like, I don't know. Arty is like I feel like that's. I thought you were gonna go down what you usually say and like say colonial tanks need to get better at flanking, and I was gonna say something to what Drunkel was saying. I think recently, which was that the part of the reason that flanking isn't always the greatest idea is because you often run into a bunch of enemy infantry that potentially have AT on them, right? Because like if you're
yeah.
flanking enemy armor and the enemy armor knows that you have armor, their infantry is gonna probably have AT. And if they have
So
like
the
ATRs
best
and
way to
shit, you
get
get
it,
tracked, you get turreted, you get
if
subsystems
if you can
disabled.
get a so you can definitely pull this up. So
I'm not
the
saying
most
no.
deadly,
Hey,
the
my
most
my
deadly
statement isn't a can.
AT.
It's a it makes it like it makes it less fruitful generally,
So
right?
let
On
me
on
say
average,
the,
it's not a
the most
it doesn't
deadly
deny it
can
wholesale.
let me add this. So a flank, because there's plenty of videos where you'll see me flanking where I'm up against like ATRs and shit. I will calculate for ATRs and shit like that, as being okay. Like that's sustainable damage. Like I'll be okay if I take that on the flank. But when you look at shit like the most deadly things to a flank are white ash. And sticky bombs, in my opinion, and bone saws, because bone saw is just the ludicrous amount of
They
damage
yeah,
but stickies and flasks lack. Why? Because they
the
track
increased
easier.
track,
They
yeah,
increase
but
track. So that's the because you have to maintain speed. Like once flanks die, if you're not barrel stuffing a tank, if you're just like sitting there in front of warden tanks and then just hugging them, you're gonna lose that flank. You need to maintain like speed if you're a colonial, if you're flanking. Like you can't stop during a flank. Like there's a lot of people who make this mistake where they just stop if they don't have everything disabled, and then just like let wardens like they let them reposition, and that's what gets them fucked. So
actually
caution.
on a
But,
I think because we've kind of gone down this before on
mhm.
the tank stuff. We've talked about this. I remember at least twice before. I feel like. Do we want to talk about a little bit about like non-tank balance? Because like you always hear people
Sure.
talking about the Boma Stone and the Argenti. Like, what's your opinion on infantry
So
balance?
infantry balance, in my opinion, I definitely agree 100%. The Boma Stone does offer colonials an advantage, but I add on that it like I don't know. I personally I would take the Boma Stone and I would take the Lowcaster. Number one, because I'm used to the Lowcaster because of old school Foxhole, and the Lowcaster feels like I'm playing old school Foxhole with it, so I can snap a lot easier. For both shadow dancing and for just cover and shit like that. The Argenti is good, don't get me wrong, but I don't like how sometimes it is a chance to three-shot kill, so I'm not really a fan of the Argenti.
Hmm.
Um, but
I gotta like if I'm I'd take Boma and Argenti. I think they're both really good. It's like if I'm looking at infantry, just infantry balance in general. I think I don't think the Argenti is necessarily the best gun in the game. But like if I were to make any changes to like that whole situation, I'd probably just go and you know make the like the what's the harpa? I'd give like the harpa more per crate because I think the per crate thing is the weirdest part.
yeah,
People
I think the Harpa should have 20 per crate, Boma 15. I think that's completely
no. I think they should both have the same 25 or 20. Well, it's one of those things where it's like maybe probably reduce I'd probably reduce Harpa or not reduce Harpa, reduce Boma before I increased Harpa because Harpa can technically be used with the grenade launcher, and I know people will tell me that's like that's cap, and it's like, who the fuck actually uses a grenade launcher as warden thing? But it's like, I mean, if you do it, it makes the harpo really good.
Yeah, I
Though
mean, grenade
understandably, no
launchers
one
are
probably supplies them hardly. But
insane. I don't know. Yeah, it's also if wardens had a grenadier uniform where they can stack harpos, it'd probably be like
that's
effectively
that's
as
also
that. But
uniforms are weird, bro.
yeah, dude. Like,
Oh god.
okay, I don't know. It's very much like it's strange to me the warden specialist uniform and then the colonial grenadier uniform,
They
but
had to fucking do this really scuffed shit where it's the Colonial Grenadier stacks 30 mil because they just didn't want to give us a specialist because they didn't want to make the
mm,
Bane viable. Like,
well, it just it pains me that the Bane is only two rockets before you have to go back now, man.
it's
It's actually
so.
like
Oh, it's so,
the Bane
so
used to be
fun.
so much fun, dude.
It's so fun.
Seriously.
I love not being able to move. It's like,
Yeah.
it's literally, you're just using a fucking mounted bone saw. That's all you're using when you use a Bane. Like, the mobility is effectively the same. Oh yeah, you can move around your feet. Yeah, good luck moving more than like 2 feet at a time. And you can't, like, if you're playing passive, if you're playing defensive, which you have to, you can't do the arcing shit where you shoot from like out of LOS, right? It's this isn't to say that the mounted bone saw is that good. This is just like saying the Bane is really, really bad. I feel
I don't think
like.
the Bane is, dude. The Bane is not like bad. I think what's bad about it, the mechanics of the Bane, where you can only carry fucking two shells, is bad.
Yeah,
But
but that's
I've
part
hit
of the
some,
weapon, right?
I've hit some insane shots with the Bane
Yeah,
before. Like
yeah, but
it's like
probably before the update though, right?
not even even like with the update, dude. Like I was on that hill pushing up towards Westgate Keep, bro. I was decrewing field guns left and right with that thing, man. It's
I
insane.
feel
Like.
like there's more
Yeah.
optimal ways to do that if I'm being real.
I don't know, but there's that, and then I was tracking tanks with it. Like I don't know, it's a good AT weapon. I wouldn't downplay the
It's not
Bane.
bad. It's just
It's
mediocre
also like
compared to
how
your other
people
options, right?
now this comes into the thing where people will say the bone saw is mediocre like that.
No.
We glaringly say yes. Wardens will tell you the bone
No, I
saw
know
is
they will.
mediocre.
I know they will. I'm just saying no to
But
that fact, right?
it is. And wardens will tell you that the Bane is S tier. I think both the Bane saw and
The Bane saw.
the Bone saw and the Bane are S tier AT weapons. I'm just gonna say that
You think the
now, man.
Bane is S tier?
Yeah, I think the Bane is an S
Okay.
tier
That
weapon.
is.
40 meter. It's
I'm
a 40
sorry, but
meter
that is
AT
the
weapon.
dumbest take I've heard, Mr.
Dude,
Fawns.
you can.
You're just
It's
wrong.
not,
You're
no,
just
it's
wrong.
literally not, dude. Because KRGG, when they were using those in fucking DV last war, they were doing like really well with them, man. Just having a lot, like it's because colonials don't
If you have a
spam
lot of
waves
anything,
very
you're
much.
gonna do well, right?
Yeah,
It's
but you have to have a lot of
that's not the
infantry.
metric that you use
So
generally.
the thing is that okay, like any infantry AT weapon, you have to have a lot of to kill a tank. Like there's no
Yeah,
one-shot infantry
no
AT weapon.
shit.
So it's like, exactly, yeah. So that's
But
why I'm
like
basing
if
on that
you're
point. Like
but
we
like
need like
no
ish-
no no, no. If you have enough of anything, you can generally do well, and if you have a stupid enough enemy, right? But it's like on average performance, I'm always gonna take a Venom over a Bane because I can actually like reposition. Unless you're into like a flat fucking field, but like at that point, you're it's like okay, that just most of the time that just doesn't exist, and it most of the time infantry just don't do that great in
I
open
don't
fields
know,
versus
man.
tanks.
The
Or
I
if you're in an open
prefer.
field, you want to be flanking,
I think
right?
that's insane that you take a Venom over a Bane. I don't know. That's crazy
I
to me. Like,
actually like moving. I'm sorry.
it's like,
Sue me.
dude, it's like you can literally, man, across any Foxhole front line, you can maneuver with a Bane, and just you just have to go around your
Yes,
enemy and
at 2 meters per second, maybe.
yeah,
Or
okay,
not
but
two, not even two, half a meter per second.
you're
Fuck.
moving quick. You're not over encumbered, man. You get the two rockets. You get them in. You wait for them to push. Hit them in the track. Your friendly LTD finishes them off. That's it. Boom. That's
This is
that.
the biggest
Perfect.
cope I've ever heard. Holy
Perfect. It's
shit.
not cope. It's not
It
cope. This
is.
has
It
happened plenty of
absolutely
times
is. Oh
before.
my
It's
god.
happened plenty of times
We've
before,
learned
man.
Fonzie's worst take, ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
no, no. Okay. No. The Bane is a good infantry AT weapon. That
Surely,
is something
surely,
I'm going to. The Bane is an S tier
surely.
weapon next to the bone saw. You know what else
Yep,
is an S tier
definitely.
infantry AT weapon? The white ash flask. Okay.
No, no,
Yes, it is.
no.
It's an awesome infantry
It's
AT weapon,
good,
dude.
and it's better than the sticky by quite a bit, but I'd definitely
It's
put it below
fun.
the bone
It has
saw and
a
the ATR.
dude. Do you know like just the track percentage on that when you hit a
It's
tank and
60.
it's
It's
actually
the
attacking?
sticky.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just insane. Like that's 60% chance to
I
track a
know
tank
it's good.
on
I'm
that,
just
and then you
saying
just like
it's
it.
not
it
it's not on both like it's not S tier. If anything it's A tier, right?
okay, I'll maybe I was hyperbolizing with S
Okay,
tier, but
we can I can
I'll agree to
accept that.
A
I can
tier.
accept
I can
hyperbole,
agree to
right?
A tier. I can agree to A tier. But I don't know. It's just Wardens have like the ATR. Just to me, the handheld ATR is also very like I
Very
fucking
yeah, that's
hate
very
those things.
solid.
They're
One of the
super
most
annoying,
solid.
man. It's just like it's one of the most annoying things as a colonial
It's because
armor
it's
player. It's
super. It's the ammo is cheap. Everything about it is cheap. It's relatively easy to supply. It doesn't have crate size issues. It's just a really solid option for when you just want to get anti-tank in the hands of like your infantry. And it beyond that, like because like unlike stickies, like if you die, you don't like generally like lose everything because you're generally going to be playing moderately defensive, not necessarily like super defensive, but like it's one of those weapons where it's like you're gonna play like decently smart with it, so you generally don't lose it. And then beyond that, when you take a shot and you're like shooting, you don't like the damage per like thing with it, the amount of potential it's got versus the amount of potential a single sticky has, and like the cost of supplying and all that shit. It really adds up quick for the ATR. Plus, its combat stats are pretty good. Like, there's a lot of reasons to love it. It's not like the best combat stats, but I think everything about it puts it to S tier because it's like there's nothing quite as like spammable and also really good. It's not oppressive in combat, but it's really good plus just that spammability, right?
and it's also I don't know. I really like the ATR a lot, and I'm definitely gonna like, dude, going Warden next door. I'm gonna have a lot of fun just wearing specialist uniforms and running around. Like that shit
Oh
is
yeah.
gonna be. I'm looking forward to that a lot. Just fucking around with handheld bone saws and shit. Because the bone saw is one of my favorite infantry AT weapons to use now.
Oh
It's a
yeah, no.
lot of fun. Like it's
If you
insane.
any front
And
where there's arty, you literally just you set up on a fucking crater and you make tankers mauled. It's
yeah.
so fucking annoying. There is it's probably the most annoying anti-tank cuz you just can't shoot it. In order for it to shoot you, there's nothing you can do most of the time against it. So it's just like, okay, well, fuck me. But yeah,
But
like
anyways, I think we should do our little word here
oh
today,
yeah,
like,
right.
our secret
The secret handshake.
the secret
What is that?
handshake. Let's see
What
here.
is
Let's
it for
do
this
something
episode?
foxhole related.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, we're a
What's your
foxhole
favorite
show. It's
map?
gonna be
Yeah,
foxhole related.
exactly. What's your favorite map?
Ah, that could be a top. Oh, you know what maps? That's our topic.
Let's see
Not
what
for
our
next
topic
week,
is then.
but that'll
Yeah.
be a topic at some point. If I'm just going off the cuff, I don't. I it's not. It's definitely not one of the new ones. It's definitely if it'd probably be one of the original nine. Going off of it, I don't really. Whenever I'm fighting in Heartlands, it's usually not a ton of fun.
Blemish fights are fun.
Lockmore can be fun-ish, but it's not my favorite. Deadlands is pretty cool. But Deadlands, I don't know. Endless Shore is always a classic, but I think it'd be Farinac. I'm kind of partial to it, but
So
just I don't know.
Farinac is okay. I'm not a fan. Like Farinac is whatever. It's a
So much
whatever
like
map
there's
for
just
me.
so many memories with
Uh,
Farinac,
so
right?
we'll have the first thing will be Farinac Coast, and for me, it's gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to go Deadlands. Farinac Coast Deadlands is the words for this
What's your
thing.
least favorite map now? We
My
can
least favorite map.
let's
Okay,
see if it's the same one. If it's the same one, there's our third word, right?
my least favorite map. Let's see. Probably the fingers, to be honest with you.
I
I don't
I
like the
actually
fingers. The
part of
fingers
me
are
was like
sticky,
I
dude.
completely forgot about the new maps.
Oh yeah,
Do we
but
want to
if it
simplify it and
no,
remove
yeah,
the
we'll
new
go with
maps?
old maps. Yeah, we'll remove the new
Let's
maps.
just do the two. Let's just do the old 20. Is it 23? Let's do the old 23
Yeah,
because if you include the new maps, everything
Orbit
is like
Isles.
those new maps are wild. Yeah.
Orbreaker Isles is my least favorite map.
Oh yeah. There's our third. Yep.
Okay, so
No
Next to
disagreement here.
Orbreaker
Fuck that
Isles.
map.
Yeah,
It used to be
Orbreaker.
fun, but then they bridged
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Once they bridged everything, Orbreaker wasn't fun anymore.
It's
So
they had to bridge things for it to like make to actually be able to support the war, but my god, has it made that region completely fucking pointless to fight in. Holy
yeah,
shit. I cannot.
but
I'm actually so excited for Naval because that fucking map sucks so much ass. Oh
yeah.
my god.
I can't wait for people's 600 Armat like aircraft carriers for
Six
me to roll
six
up.
hundred armat, bro.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like that's only a little bit more than a battle tank.
okay,
2,000 armats to
okay,
5,000. Okay.
2000 Armat, fucking battleship or whatever, and I roll up next to them with a Duru and sticky bombs, and I sink them, dude.
Yeah, no,
It's
no.
gonna be,
Fucking Somalian pirates is me,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Anyways, everyone, I think that'll be it for today. I gotta call it here. Call it a bit. So,
you
yeah,
got more stuff in your freezer?
yeah, I got more stuff in my freezer.
The
Exactly.
funny
So,
stuff or
yeah, no, not the funny stuff.
oh
But
damn. Why
yeah,
not?
I don't know, 'cause I have to work tomorrow.
Oh,
But
that'd be a good reason. Yeah.
mhm,
No, anyway, thank you all for tuning in. We'll probably be talking newts next time with
mhm,
Drunkle and Dury if they're still up and if everything works out. But
yep,
thank you all for tuning in. It's a little bit of a short episode. We probably could have talked more on like 250 stuff, but I think everyone's heard these points before in
yeah,
some
we got
capacity.
into it.
Yeah, I don't think we need to like go super crazy in depth. I think we probably said what we need to say. So, thank you all and have a good one.
Mhm. Yep, see ya.